Applechips starting off with a painting into a seat, into Cataxius. So, they have all their influence this game, and it looks like they're good to go. They have a Grafter in hand. We've seen Grafter before. Vine Grafter has been sort of the star card of this tournament, actually, one of the star cards. We've seen it in a lot of decks that, I just didn't necessarily expect it, right? Applechips could play a Merchant, and they've chosen to play Grafter. So could Colacoma. They've both chosen to play Grafters over Merchants. And I believe Colacoma's hand does not have 20 cards in it once again.
I believe that is true. They have 3 power, a Beseech the Throne, a Trailmaker, and a Suffocate. So not actually a lot going on in Colacoma's hand. They've got a Trailmaker, and they got a Suffocate for interaction, but they're going to want to draw something here. All right, Applechips got a couple power. We've got the Cataxius, the Tower, and 2 Vine Grafters here.
Fortunately, Cataxius is not a Valkyrie, notably.
Mm-hmm.
Since it's not a Valkyrie, it does not trigger Valkyrie Warp by itself. But it does have synergy in this deck because this deck wants to be ramping Justice to 6. And, having a unit that can give you double Justice does, in fact, help you ramp to 6 Justice when you can pull it off, that is. Yeah, so currently, Applechips is considering... Sorry, continue.
Oh, I was just saying, there's nothing like having a Minotaur, a Mandrake, and a Valkyrie Warp in your hand.
I didn't even consider that. Look, it's just the zoo. We're all going to the zoo today. But what Applechips is thinking right here is he's got 2/2 drops, right? He can play Grafter this turn to use it next turn, or he can play Cataxius this turn to just have a better body. I think you just play the Grafter this turn because it's just the better card. But if you're afraid of Suffocate or Send an Agent, you might just play Cataxius instead. So I don't know. I haven't played the matchup before, so I'll trust Applechips whatever the decision they decide to make here.
All right, looks like a tough call here for sure. Just make sure there's not something else. Make sure they're thinking about this play and not. Yeah, there you go. Vine Grafter is what they're going to go with here. And another power off the top for Colacoma. So even though they don't have 20 cards in hand, they do have these. They're going to go ahead and Beseech the Throne. I assume they're going to plunder away one of these. Yeah, they're going to plunder away one of their multiple power for a treasure trove. Going to suffocate that Mandrake, and they've got a Desert Alchemist and a treasure trove in hand now.
Yes. I was like, how did you find that? I was like, oh, because you see the other hands, and I don't.
Applechips going to draw the Stonehammer off the top.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta play the Valkyrie, because just in case Valkyrie Warp shows up, you gotta make sure you have a Valkyrie in play. So that's why they chose to play that over their other 2-drops. Even if it's a relatively weak 2-drop. They gotta get their Valkyrie out there. I wonder if that's why they gave us a 0-drop Valkyrie. Just be like, well, you can play a 0-drop Valkyrie and then Valkyrie Warp anything. You can even Cataxius on turn 2. But
Valkyrie Warp a boat. All right, Here comes the 2-1 attacking in. Let's see if Applechips, and they are going to call that block.
Ooh, that's bold. I don't. You know what? I kind of like that. If Colacoma gives you the option, you might as well just take their power off the board. Yes, you don't get the Valkyrie Warp.
And I'm picturing Colacoma.
Get Valkyries next turn.
I'm picturing Colacoma sitting there saying, "Wait, what's? I wasn't expecting that block."
All right. There's no way they block, but I think that was the correct block, actually.
Right, this is good though.
You get more Valkyries this way.
Clearing off the board, getting their tower down, and then a Roland in hand, but a Gardener off the top for Colacoma. Oof. That's a nice draw too.
And we've seen time and time again, Gardener does a lot of work.
It does.
So here we get. Actually, here's something interesting. I wonder. So about Aijin and Vine Grafter and Arak in the market. If you have an Aijin that's active and play Arak from the market, and it gets a +4/+4 weapon on it, does the +4/+4 weapon count for its power? So do you get 4 extra 1/1 Grenadins, or do you not get those 4 Grenadins?
That's a really interesting question.
Yeah, I have no idea. So I have to imagine that
possible that could come up, but yeah, I'm not sure.
I have to imagine this turn might just be Vine Grafter plus Aijin. Or Vine Grafter plus Cataxius, or just activate Vine Grafter. Yeah, that makes sense.
Vine Grafter grabbing the speaking circle. So remember, Colacoma has the They swapped in the
roll it,
Cataxias
regen.
here.
Oh yes, because Cataxias is bad. That's right. In the opening hand.
So remember, Colacoma has the 4 copies of Speaking Circle in the main. Applechips has the Speaking Circle in the market, and went and grabbed it there. 2 different strategies for how you want to handle your most powerful card in the deck.
So if Applechips can draw power, well, that's power, but it's not the power you wanted.
Yeah, depleted power is not exactly what you want. You got to be more specific when you're calling these Stormblessed.
I'm sorry. I'll try better next time. So I think you do exhaust 1 Valkyrie this turn. Yeah, you exhaust 1 because you're playing the Roland. So, which is good because now that's a 4 attack Gardener, which means you can at least attack past it. Well, it has regen though, so it can still be cool stuff. Okay, so Colacoma doesn't have Speaking Circle in hand, which means that you get your first sight to pop, and then you get the second sight because Colacoma has no burn spells in their deck, I believe, so they can't Vicious Overgrowth the tower.
They did draw a Haunting Scream though, and they have a Trailmaker in the Void. Can they? They can't get past this 1/1 though.
Have you ever seen anything get past a 1/1 before?
So they're gonna play the Molder Muck. So they couldn't quite take
and
care of that tower.
And now you get to play Speaking Circle, and you get to draw like 20 cards because. Oh wait, how many cards does Colacoma have in hand? I actually don't know.
4.
Okay, so you get to draw 2 cards end of turn, and you get a Speaking Circle, which presumably gets to kill Moldermuck, or maybe silence Moldermuck if you're afraid of Haunting Scream. Unity Within is fine. That actually that's not terrible. It turns all the Valkyries into 2/2s and the 6/6 into a 7/7.
Share a type with it. Yep.
I mean, our Zoo Tribal of Mandrake doesn't work with it.
Yeah, it's just the 2. It's just the 2 and the 6/6 for now.
And Rhoda. Rhoda's the real deal. If Rhoda was a real unit, would people just play Rhoda straight up?
Rebuild.
Rebuild gives power. Actually, you can rebuild and play Aijin this turn if you wanted to. That's developing the board, or Regen and play a Valkyrie into the air again.
Don't forget to add Oni to the to our zoo here. The zoo. I think we found a new name for this deck. FJS Zoo.
We'll go into the zoo. The zoo. So what's the last card gonna be? Man, it'd be nice if we got Spectator where we could actually see it. Yeah, and they got give Valkyrie +2/+2 in Regen this turn. Oh, that doesn't do as much as I think it does.
It doesn't random Valkyrie. Can you draw any Valkyrie as good as we saw last game?
Draw a Rezon? Yeah, that'd be good. But I think he's just going for rebuild into one of these 2 not Valkyries, one of these 2 cards. So Aijin makes sense. And then because you're gonna draw 3 cards end of turn. Oh, that's especially good.
Nice.
Man, rebuild was absurd to get actually.
And painting, as you said last game, let's get those power off the top of the board. Now the Silexes aren't as bad because they get treasure troves anyway, but. No. Colacoma says, I don't have an answer for Speaking Circle.
Is just out. That Rhoda plus Speaking Circle is too much. Rolling with Regen, Applechips showed some sort of dominance.
All right, Applechips is going to take game 1. Quick reminder, this is just best of 3, so now Applechips is 1 game away from winning the whole event.
1 game. And both players don't have trophies yet, so both players really want that trophy here.
That's true. I believe this is Colacoma's first event, so that's pretty nice to get to the finals in your first event. Applechips already has some points, but winning this one will definitely shoot them up the leaderboard for sure. Put them in really good place for the rest of the season.
I mean, even getting top 2 will still put them up on the leaderboard.
Absolutely. All right, reminder, so everyone who participated today gets 1 point for the leaderboard. That'll help out a little bit. Those that top 3, so the Overmaster, Stormguard, will both get 3 points. So actually, your 1 and 2, no matter what happens, are going to stay the same because Stormguard's going to get another 3 points, as will the Overmaster. So they'll stay 1 and 2, but I think we'll see some shakeups on the rest of the leaderboard. All right, and now we've got game 2 hands starting here. So Applechips looking at a hand of 3 power. Unfortunately, depleted.
What a great Argent board hand.
Yeah, right. Some depleted power, but then Exploit's very powerful. Deathwing is pretty solid. Cataxias and Vinegrafter here.
So the nice thing here is, I mean, if Applechips got a sigil off the top, that'd be insane. But you do get to make a trove, and then you can exploit the trove and hopefully get fire off the plunder.
And then Colacoma looking at a hand of 2 power, a Desert Alchemist, Beseech the Throne, Speaking Circle, Vinegrafter, and Huntress. So Colacoma can get to turn 6.
We've seen in the past, again and again, the games are dominated by looming threat of a speaking circle on either side.
Yeah.
So the benefit. So interestingly, speaking circle in the market has a lot of benefits because you only take it out if you're like on the play or whatever in a speaking circle matchup in many ways.
Right.
Because you wouldn't take it out here, and you can't draw it. So if your opponent's playing a 4 speaking circle deck, then you can get it out of the market when you need to, but you can't. It won't be like trapped in your hand.
Yeah, we've
so
seen
there is
it.
some
We've
interesting
seen it
upside
kind
to
of
that.
be a waste sometimes when it's been in hand and you haven't been the first one to cast it. It's been stuck in your hand and taking up a slot. I guess you save that. Although at that point in the game, you're you're not in great shape anyway if that's what you're relying on. But
Yeah.
I don't know if we've seen any player lose being the first one to cast Speaking Circle.
No, we
sure
saw. I think we saw. No, we saw. I believe Theo cast speaking circle. It died, and then colacoma cast their own speaking circle, and then
I think you're right.
ended
Yeah,
up
we
beating
did see
Theo
we
in
did see that
one
one.
of the
They
early rounds.
couldn't protect that one. That's right. But either way, still pretty good. Getting out your first Speaking Circle is pretty strong.
Yeah, maybe you should play 8 grafter, 12 grafter, play 12 grafter, put one speaking circle market, so you have 12 copies of it. Of course, one of the upsides to having 4 in deck is that you can play speaking circle and then develop a second one if your first one wasn't that good. But we'll see how it
Definitely is the
translates out
first
here.
thing to hit the board, straight out of Applechips' hands. No warp, of course, here. But pretty good Nighthawk here. 2/3 deadly lifesteal flying. Pretty good combination of abilities there. Colacoma going to fire off a Silex.
Ooh, but did you notice anything about Colacoma's power situation? No shadow. They can't suffocate. They can't send an agent.
Well, so what's interesting is they've had Shadow in hand, so they have a Shadow Sigil and a Xenon Silex in hand, but they've been deploying out their Elysian power. I wonder, they had 2 seats and a Silex, so maybe they were playing around drawing a card off of that Elysian Silex, maybe. But no Shadow cards in hand, so no priorities to get that Shadow down.
So I like Applechips sequence here. Wait for the exploit one more turn. Presumably they're going to take Speaking Circle here because that card is obnoxiously good. And I don't know how they beat it otherwise. So
yep, and that hurts for Colacoma because they were building up to that. Their hand was in pretty good shape, and now they've just got Huntress and a treasure trove. They're going to have to reset here.
Yeah, and you take out the heavy artillery because it's pure fire, so it can be plundered away into a fire sigil, which you need. Now you can just slam a Vine Grafter, which blocks 2/1 deadlies all day, every day.
Absolutely, it does.
No, Applechips was thinking about playing the Valkyrie for Valkyrie warp value. But if you play Valkyrie warp value, I like that. You play the Valkyrie because then you can plunder away your Trove, or Cataxius rather, I guess, and that would give you 5 power for Grafter plus activate Grafter next turn, and you can get the Valkyrie warp value. Sorry to go into a little bit of detail there, but
no, it's
the
great.
hand's complicated, the game's complicated, and you might forget that Valkyrie in hand has plunder. It doesn't seem like a card that might have plunder, but it does in fact have plunder on it.
Flying Berserk, Reckless Plunder. So it's hard to remember all those abilities, but it's got those on there. Applechips gonna just take this free block here on the 2/1.
That's an odd attack in some respects. I guess
maybe the Huntress here.
Yeah, there's a Huntress in hand. Oof. Yeah.
Still, that's
I think
tough.
That's still fine.
Yeah, you're taking a solid 2 for 1 there. That's totally fine. Colacoma down to just a Trove in hand.
You now get to play your own. You can play even 2 of them. Goodbye, Cataxius, presumably.
Have that warp, but not enough power for it. But
yeah,
still not bad coming down next turn though.
Nope. Imagine you warped it this turn though. Just look. Can you just imagine how good that would be? Because now Cataxius gets buffed though, because that's how Cataxius works. So Cataxius gets to become a 3/4 overwhelm, and gives weapons and decks +1/+1 or something. It has some sort of text on it that relates to your deck, right?
Weapon in your deck gets battle. Oh, and there's another one off the top, and this one you can warp.
Oh my goodness, that's absurd. Okay, so now you get to give your Valkyrie +3.
Colacoma drawing a Hermit last turn, but couldn't play it.
Which puts out 13 damage.
Oh no,
18 damage.
Oh, wow,
puts Colacoma down to 7.
7 on that one turn.
So Colacoma went from 28 to 7.
Went from 1 turn away from Speaking Circle to getting it exploited down to 7 in the next turn. Just what a turn of events there. Wow.
What a series of plays from Applechips. I haven't used this term in a while, but what a real skull apex maneuver right there from Applechips.
And congratulations, Applechips. Wow.
Already over.
Already over. That was unbelievable. Wow.